How crunk music changed rap music. Yo, what's good? Today we're diving into one of the most overlooked but most influential movements in hip-hop history, crunk music. This isn't just about getting hype in the club. Crunk permanently changed the sound, energy, performance, and business of rap music. When people talk about hip-hop eras, they'll bring up boom bap, gangster rap, the shiny suit era, trap, drill, but crunk often gets reduced to party music, and that's disrespectful. Because without crunk, modern rap doesn't look or sound the same. We're talking about Lil Jon and the East Side Boyz, YoungBloodZ, Lil Scrappy, Ying Yang Twins, Ludacris, 3-6 Mafia. This is the story of how the South stopped knocking on the door and kicked it down. Before we get to Lil Jon and the mainstream explosion, we need to talk about where this energy came from. Crunk didn't just appear in the late 90s. The roots go back to Miami bass, Memphis underground tapes, and Atlanta street party culture in the early 90s. Artists like DJ Paul and Juicy J in Memphis were already making dark, chant-heavy music with booming 808s. In Atlanta, producers were experimenting with aggressive club tracks that prioritized bass over everything else. The word crunk itself was floating around the South for years before it became a genre. It meant being hyped, energized, ready to go crazy. But it took the right moment, the right city, and the right producers to turn that feeling into a movement. Before we talk artists, we gotta define crunk properly. Crunk wasn't just a sound, it was a feeling. The word itself comes from a mix of crazy and drunk, but musically it meant chant. Minimalist lyrics meant to be shouted, not analyzed. Call and response energy. Music designed for clubs, cars, and crowds. Crunk shifted the focus from lyrical complexity to collective energy. Before crunk, rap was still very bar-centric. Crunk said, forget that, how does this feel when 500 people yell it at once? That mindset changed everything. If you want to understand crunk, you have to understand Magic City. Magic City wasn't just a strip club. It was a cultural institution. It was where Atlanta's street energy, nightlife, and music industry collided. Every Monday night, the city's biggest artists, producers, and DJs would pack into Magic City. New music got tested there. If a song could move the crowd at Magic City, it was a hit. Crunk thrived in that environment. The heavy bass, the chants, the call and response, it was all designed for that moment. When the DJ drops a new track and the whole club erupts. Magic City gave crunk its identity. It wasn't about radio play or critics. It was about making people move right now in the moment. That's why crunk felt so raw and unfiltered. It was born in a space where only one thing mattered: the crowd's reaction. Atlanta, the crunk capital. Atlanta in the late 90s and early 2000s was bubbling. Outkast had already proven the South could be artistic and experimental. But crunk came from a different place. This was strip clubs. This was block parties. This was car systems rattling trunks. Crunk was raw Atlanta energy. And at the center of it all was one man. Crunk didn't just change the sound of rap, it changed the business model. Before crunk, Southern artists often had to go through New York or LA to get deals. But crunk proved that the South could build its own infrastructure. Independent labels like TVT Records and Slip and Slide thrived off crunk's success. Artists were signing deals, getting placements, and building careers without leaving Atlanta or Memphis. Crunk also changed how music was marketed. It wasn't about magazine covers or MTV interviews. It was about club spins, mixtapes, and word of mouth. The strip club became as important as the radio station. DJs had more power than ever before. And when Crunk crossed over into pop, with Lil Jon producing for Usher, Ciara, and even Britney Spears, it proved that Southern producers could dominate any genre. That shift opened doors for every Southern artist who came after. Without Crunk's business success, there's no Gucci Mane, no Future, no Migos breaking through the way they did. If Crunk has a godfather, it's Lil Jon. Lil Jon didn't just make songs, he engineered chaos. With the Eastside Boys, he created a blueprint. Even louder hooks, ad-libs that became cultural catchphrases. Yeah, okay, what? Those weren't just sounds, they were branding. Songs like Get Low, Bia Bia, Throw It Up. These records weren't about storytelling, they were about domination of space. When Get Low dropped, it wasn't optional. Every DJ played it. Every club moved to it. Lil Jon also changed production. He made distortion acceptable. He made simplicity powerful. He made energy more important than polish. And maybe most importantly, Lil Jon showed that Southern producers could be stars. That opened the door for everyone who came after. YoungBloodZ, Crunk with the message. While Lil Jon brought pure chaos, YoungBloodZ added depth. Sean Paul and J-Bo proved Crunk could still say something. Their biggest hit, Damn, was loud and catchy, but it also had perspective. YoungBloodZ balanced street authenticity and Crunk energy. They showed that the sound wasn't limited to just club anthems. Crunk could still ride in a whip and speak to real life. Lil Scrappy embodied the fight in Crunk. Discovered and backed by Lil Jon, Scrappy brought raw emotion to the sound. He rapped like someone with something to prove. Tracks like No Problem, Money in the Bank. Scrappy's delivery was aggressive, passionate, almost desperate, and that mattered. He showed that Crunk wasn't just for DJs and hooks. Rappers could still shine. That influence shows up today in artists who rely more on emotion and intensity than technical bars and shot value. Then you had the Ying Yang Twins. They took Crunk and pushed it into shop territory. Whisper rap, explicit hooks, humor mixed with raunch. Songs like Whistle While You Twerk, Salt Shaker, Wait. These records were impossible to ignore. The Ying Yang Twins proved that viral rap existed before social media. They understood controversy, repetition, and crowd reaction. That formula is still used today. Crunk meets mainstream rap. Ludacris doesn't always get labeled as Crunk, but his early success was deeply connected to the movement. Luda had bars, charisma, and comedic timing, but he also embraced songs like Move Bitch and Stand Up carried Crunk energy into the mainstream. Ludacris was proof that you could be lyrical, be funny, be commercial, and still ride the Crunk wave. That versatility helped Southern rap dominate radio. Number 10. Explaity by Cure-Based Gamers. From me, I gots to reveal them. 3-6 Mafia, the dark side of Crunk. Now let's talk 3-6 Mafia. While Atlanta was loud and bright, Memphis was dark and hypnotic. 3-6 Mafia brought aggressive group energy. They influence crunk just as much as they influence trap. Their sound laid the groundwork for modern trap. Funk 3-6 showed that crowd energy didn't have to be happy, it could be menacing. That DNA is everywhere today. Crunk changed rap in ways people don't always recognize. It normalized producer-led movements, simple hooks over complex verses, southern dominance. Without crunk, there's no trap as we know it, no rage rap, no festival-ready hip-hop. Crunk taught rap how to move people, not just impress them. It was loud, it was messy, it was unapologetic, and it changed the game forever. Crunk showed that you didn't need to be the most lyrical or the most technical. You just needed to make people feel something. You needed to create a moment. That philosophy is still the foundation of modern hip-hop. From Travis Scott's raging concerts to the viral TikTok hits that prioritize hooks over verses, Crunk's influence is undeniable. The South didn't just get a seat at the table. Crunk flipped the table over and built a new one. If you felt this breakdown, tap in, subscribe, and let me know, where does Crunk rank in hip-hop history for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Peace.